Normally what makes me most excited about working on a comic is like the writing part of it. With Vatu, I'm doing sort of every week or so I like sit down and block out a lot of stuff and rewrite a lot of stuff, and I have the whole thing densely plotted, but I'm constantly sort of fixing things as I get to them, and that is what it feels like. It reinvests me in the story and gets me more into the characters' headspaces, and that translates into my experience of drawing it. Like, it just becomes more fun that way. Um, and also, like, I get really excited about drawing landscapes and cityscapes and like building a visual sense of place. That's kind of what that is it, more than any other thing. That is what draws me to comics. Probably is building a place visually from scratch. Whether it's derivative of reality or it's a totally invented thing, the setting is what sort of starts my involvement in a project and what is exciting to me most. My process varies a lot for every different project. For something as big as Vatu, I spent a long, long time preliminarily like writing. I filled up like 9 different spiral bound notebooks of just notes of like these are the different ways that it could fit together. This is what the plot's going to be. So I write endlessly, and I'm writing during the process of drawing it too. Uh, on the small scale, I block out every scene in terms of where the dialogue is, how it flows back and forth. I do thumbnails. I do a couple iterations of thumbnails, which are like small sketches of the page before I draw the page. And then I draw pages at 10 by 15 inches, pencil, ink. I use a brush to ink, and I scan and clean it up and color it in Photoshop. I have a pretty straightforward, pragmatic way of coloring. Like, I do flat color, and then I do like a layer of sort of environment or atmospheric color, and then at need, I'll layer on more stuff for like effects and atmospheric lighting and stuff like that. It's very important to me to not rely entirely on the computer. I feel like, and maybe part of this is from like my drawing classes, but I feel like if I were to draw fully on a tablet, I would sort of lose sight of the entire image and I would lose some compositional sense. And also the experience of like using a brush and ink on paper is beautiful and gets at something that I can't get on the computer, and I feel like you can see it in the art too. Like, there's some it's not a purely like airy fairy, like it just feels better to me thing. Like, I feel like that translates to the experience of looking at the picture and draw and reading the comic. But yeah, it's always going to be. I think I'm always going to be in some way using physical media. I use Photoshop to color just because I don't understand color, and it's very forgiving, and I can sort of redo it, and it's quick, and I like the way it looks, and it's smooth and clean. But I'm always gonna draw with ink, probably. I haven't played D&D in several months, but I really like it, and I used to play it a whole lot. It's always sort of gotten at that escapist, like richly imagined world thing that is very important to me. Particularly with Order of Tales, I think I was riffing on a lot of ideas that came up to me in playing D&D. Nothing as specific like as a character, but there's some settings that sort of suggest to me the feeling of like playing in a cave with friends and going down dark tunnels and stuff. But I love D&D. I wish I had more time for it lately.
Worship me!